my special interests lately has been looking at the origins of religion as a catalyst for human civilization and large scale cooperation. It begins with Gobekli Teppe. Gobekli Teppe is a large scale monument that dates back 11,500 years ago and was found in modern-day southeast Turkey. The significance of this particular site is that it is the oldest large structure that can also be linked to religious belief. However, prior to the discovery of such a site and actually properly dating it to pre-agricultural time, the prevailing theory was that as people began to settle down, they created the temples and organized religion followed, rather than requiring organized religion as the catalyst for agriculture. If we take 11,500 years as the age of this site, this puts us in what is normally referred to as the Natufian period, which is kind of a proto-agriculture transition period. So what you get with the Natufians is seasonal migration patterns, wherein one part of the year they will be in one place, and they will move with the seasons to track herds and the availability of plants. And they would likely want to come back to the same spot, or roughly the same spot every year. So this monument could have been a marker to say, this is where we set up camp every year. It could have started that way, just a small marker in the wilderness. And as the marker got bigger, as people accumulated more stones, it became a much more significant site for trading between groups. Perhaps multiple groups would use the same site throughout a year, and people would be rotating. Once one group leaves, the next group comes in, and then they could leave things and use this as a site for trading grounds. And we would recognize each other because both groups recognize the spot as sacred, as a sacred trading grounds. And this allowed for increased cooperation between human groups and between people who are not genetically related. As groups got larger and as people stayed at the same spot for longer and longer, resources would inevitably become scarcer and scarcer, and this created the perfect conditions for experimentation with agricultural practices. Small at first, with things like using larger groups of people to corral herds of animals into one area and maybe try to fence them off, and selecting certain individuals over others, as well as being able to collect seeds. And while other people are out hunting, some people can be sowing the ground and seeing what happens and tending to the crops. Another thing is people might use fires to control the environment and also as a weapon against animals in hunting, to corral them into one area or to just make them more subdued and easier to kill. This way you could get larger sums of animals and control the numbers better and have a more reliable source of food, especially if you're able to actually corral them into one area that you can continuously monitor because you have a larger number of people now. With Gobekli Tepe, we see the emergence of large-scale structures and large-scale human cooperation over likely many generations. This temple, this structure, this monument was built by our ancestors, and we create narratives surrounding the monuments that we come back again and again every year, and it builds meaning into the group so that we already have the seeds of big God's religion, of mass cooperation. Prior to the agricultural revolution, and religion was actually the catalyst to agriculture, to sedentarianism, and to modern civilization, rather than the other way around. For without religion, people cannot unite on a shared goal, a shared belief, a trust in one another, and the discouraging of free riders.